big thing that I see in the offshore landscape is the preponderance of quote unquote nominee director services, and also the misinformation surrounding the same. A nominee director is different than a local director, right? So when you see that in the context of a license requirement, like let's say, for instance, a Swiss financial intermediary license, there is a difference, right? A nominee director is, by definition, a non-executive director. He or she has no power to bind the company, right? So Singapore is a great example. Singapore requires for their corporations that there be one director of Singaporean residence. Well, that's always a nominee director by virtue of the fact that you simply wouldn't want somebody to have executive powers as it relates to your company, right? Signatory type powers. Now, a local director or independent director, as sometimes called, and sometimes required in licensing arrangements, is an executive director, right? It's an executive director in all material respects, and typically a resident of Switzerland in the case that I just mentioned, or wherever else you're seeking to obtain a license from. And, they're fairly easy to find, but you are, to an extent, adding a signatory, right, for lack of a better word, to your company. You're adding another executive, right? And so there's some, consternation, obviously, when you look at it in terms of who are you giving this power to? Well, there's a way around it, right? And the way around it is through a simple power of attorney, right? The power of attorney, and many people make the mistake of not getting the power of attorney, is to have that local or independent director give a power of attorney back to one of the beneficial owners, one of the UBOs, or an officer director, whoever it could be, along with a proxy, right, which provides the holder of the proxy the right to vote on behalf of that local director. And that sort of solves your problem. So you have the local director who, for all intents and purposes, meets like a statutory requirement and is independent, right, and is a real director with real powers, but has since by contract contracted away those powers, right? And I see too many people not following up and getting that power of attorney or proxy, and also not actually knowing that they should, or picking the wrong person. And then when you get into corporate situations, you could have someone who goes rogue, right? And this is notable because a lot of times that means access to bank accounts or access to crypto accounts, whatever the case may be. So very important delineation between nominee and local independent/independent directors that you should be wary about when you see that come up in like the context of offshore, and when you need a nominee, when you could suffice, when that would suffice, versus when you would actually need a local director, and how you can insulate yourself against risk from some of these local directors that may not always act in the best interest or in the interest that you want the company to go into. So obviously hit me up if you have questions. I've got a deep bench of nominees and local directors that I'm happy to refer to. Adam at adamtracy, tracy.io, and I'll talk to you later.